Wanna have some fun? Wanna have some fun? Fun?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, this is the remixed rewind for week 13. We're on the cusp of the playoffs here for Total Remix 12. Oh, shit, 13. I am losing count in all this excitement. Mr. Assistant Commish, here we are on the precipice potentially of the playoffs. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm barely hanging on there. I've kind of came on a little bit at the end here, but we'll get into my team. But yeah, it's kind of just I'm hanging on by a thread. I got a few teams that are trying to take over my position.
Well, there you are, sixth place Slayer. You are officially changing your name to Bon Jovi for the week. We have we've got this has been in terms of teams sort of in different tiers here. We've had a few that have separated themselves. I think the top three teams have by and large been difference makers. You've had the bottom three teams that have really sort of separated themselves from the wheat. And then you've got this core group of six additional teams that have just been mired in decent and mediocre. And it's been quite impressive to see how many teams in that middle tier have sort of failed to either separate themselves or take turns winning and losing and jockeying back and forth. And it shows in the current standings, which we can dive right into here. Um, there's there's a decent amount of teams that still have not punched a playoff spot. In fact, three of them are unclaimed.
Yeah. Three taken and about like what six of us here vying for position.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, so we've got six teams, like you mentioned, that are vying for three playoff spots. So half of them are going to be happy after this week, and half aren't. We can go through the list here and see how everything shakes out after week 13. Sally Balls remains our number one seed, even though he got a disgusting loss to Buster and ended up in the shit barrel list this week because of what happened below him. He's guaranteed to finish in first place. So I want to give some flowers to Sally. He's had a strong team throughout. He's very well balanced, and he deserves the number one overall seed. So he's at 22 and a half points. He essentially has 3 straight weeks to have a group pep talk and get his team right for that second round.
Mhm.
And then the really interesting development was the match between Kali and Titties. They were really duking it out and had two of the top three scores on the week last week. Titties was our top dick winner and getting 2.5 points. He ties Cali at 19.5 points. Cali is probably going to win the tiebreaker over him on the season long standing, so he's still in second, but Titties is third in a dead heat. That's really great. I don't remember the last season where we've had one of the first round buys come down to the wire like this, and it's a pretty big deal if you get to skate through one round of the playoff here. So lot for these two teams to be playing for, but the two of them have punched their ticket along with Sally. Obviously, are the only three teams that are absolutely safe and going to be in the big dance after this week's affairs. So before we move on, anything you want to say about the top three teams, either this past week or on the season as a whole?
Yeah, just putting these rankings together the week, I just remember seeing these names like just a ton, putting the numbers together and yeah, they just come out on top. So it just makes perfect sense. And all of them have just done really well this year too. I can't even tell you how many top dicks Tutties has got. I think he's got 2 or 3 this year. So uh but yeah, Callie and Sally, they just did awesome as well too.
And they've all scored within 100 points of each other. They're the top three scoring teams. They're they're 3 of the 4 teams that have cleared 2,000 points scored on the season, and they've all, yeah, I mean, Kali at the beginning sort of had a lot of bad luck, and of his 5 losses, most of them came at the very beginning of the season, the first 5 weeks, and since then his sort of luck has turned around, and he's actually been scored on less than the other 2 guys overall in the season. So Sally and Titties have also sort of had their lumps. No one's had it really easy of those 3, and they've been able to score very well. So I mean, they played each other. I mean, they were all in the Apex Predators division, and Mr. Titties, he picked a good group there if he wanted to compete, because it's been the 3 of them sort of steering the ship, and they certainly deserve to be in the position that they're in now. On the back half of the standings, we got in 12th place Mr. Nick Saban, who's mustered up 6 points the whole season. Buster McNutt, who has 7, and 2 of those came last week, and then Steve Duku in 10th with 8 points. I want to pour one out for Steve. I mean, we haven't had the luxury of doing many of these podcasts this season, but one of the ones we did post draft and post week 1, I was just singing Dooku's praises about how he's always in the playoffs, he's always in the picture, and at the time he had won back-to-back top picks and was most likely first in the standings. Oh, he has dropped like a fucking lead balloon since then, and I don't think he's picked up a point since week 5. He's on a 9-game losing streak, and he's in 10th place, and he's out of the playoff contention. I don't think I've seen such a talented manager and team, historically, uh, drop so fast like this. That is quite impressive. Any thoughts about any of these teams?
Yeah, Steve was the one that had the most potential, didn't he? He was the chosen one, and he sunk like a stone, didn't he? Yeah, but yeah, there's always next year though. For these 3 teams. Hopefully, Buster and Saban will be more adamant about getting their lineups chosen, but that'll be fine. We'll talk about that next year.
Yeah. Sometimes the players just, I mean, they get hurt. I mean, he spent a lot of money on Lamar Jackson. He always has Lamar Jackson, and Lamar has just had a bad year. He's been hurt for most of it, and outside the first 3 weeks, I think it just hasn't been that good for him. And when your top end player just doesn't produce, and he's had some other issues, he's got some bad luck. This is just what happens. I mean, if you're not willing to be aggressive on the waiver wire or trade, you're more or less stuck with what you're stuck with. And if you're stuck with bad luck, then it's good luck, Chuck. So
Yeah.
it's just one of those seasons.
Do you think in the future he's going to get away from some of the Baltimore players, or is he going to stick with them?
He's probably ride or die there. But it'd be interesting to see if, I mean, I certainly am not predicting that Lamar Jackson's going to be a value next year. He'll probably be one of the top echelon quarterbacks, but this season sort of is the first one where people are going to have serious doubts about his value long term.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, he missed a lot of time with the injury, and it's just not been good since he's came back, right?
The team hasn't been that good. The defense isn't that good, and he's not as electric. I mean, he probably has some lower leg injury that has affected his ability to be an effective runner, and that was where he got a lot of his juice from in the fantasy community. So
yeah,
just a sad situation. And Buster and Saban, I don't know what to say about Buster. I mean, he's had a few seasons in a row here where he's sort of had one hand on the wheel and had some bad luck. Nick Saban, I mean, it's just every year. It starts and ends with the draft. And he seems to make some poor trade decision like every single year, that doesn't really benefit him. And it's a shame, because he certainly cares about it.
yeah.
And the only thing he can just mark mark for him in the positive every year is he's gonna fucking beat me twice as if he's in my division. You just write it down. That is what he's good for.
Oh man, so you were like at least 2 or 4 of his points, right, or so?
At least two. I played him twice. He has 6 points, so guaranteed a third of his season long value has come off my back.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's great.
yeah, at least he shows up for one match, right?
Yeah. That leaves us with the 6 that are sort of going to be the focus of attention for week 14 here. My team, Castor Troy's in 4th at 14.5 points. Boston got a big win, a really close win against Gladys here in week 13. Not only wins for skin of his teeth, needed 40 something plus points from the Seattle defense. To win a very close match and squeaked in as a top 6 scoring team and literally in 6th, just a few points. This was tough for Gladys. Like it's a game that you really need to at least walk away with a point to get yourself in a position to get into playoffs. And not only do you lose by just essentially a cunt here, but your opponent also gets the last point for finishing in the top 6, which you easily could have been in that position too. So that is like a potential 4-point swing. We could easily be talking about Butts in 9th and Gladys in 5th here. But as it turns out, Boston's right there in 5th place, 14.5 points. And then it's your team holding down that last playoff spot, just a half point behind and with 14 points. It's real close bunching between these 3, but neither of us, including Boston, can really rest on our laurels here in week 14.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and looks like I get to decide the fate of one of the 6 because I'm going against one of them. So,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
That's right. And just to round out the other 3, Frank is in 7th. He's in a tie with Shelby, 12.5 points. He wins a tiebreaker over him, so he's in 7th. Shelby's 8th, 12.5. And then Gladys, the last of this group, is in 9th place at 12 points. There's a 1.5 point gap right now between 6th and 7th, and that's obviously the big differential to look at as we wrap things up here in the regular season, because that's a decent gap considering most people can really only strive for 2 points every week, but it's not enough to where you can really rest easily if you're sitting in your particular shoes in your seat here in 6th. Only a point and a half up from potentially getting the ultimate migsing on the season and find yourself in 7th. So how do you feel overall about your season and the fairly precarious situation you find yourself here on the eve of the playoffs?
Yeah, it's been up and down like probably all of us in these last 6 spots here. And I'm very nervous about this week. Yeah, I was kind of hoping you would just take care of Frank, just go ahead and send him to the nether realm, but that didn't happen. He decided to show up one week against you, of course. So yeah, now I've got 3 different people banging down the door trying to get in.
Yeah, no, Frank, he used my face to blot up his $20,000 alpaca rug. He took me to the dog shed this week. He finished 2nd overall in score on the week, and has really shown. Yeah, it might be an every other week type of pattern, but I mean, we were looking at his team 4 or 5 weeks in, and we're like, he's just this isn't working out.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as he got Rashi Rice back, and he
Yeah.
made a very conscious decision to hang on to him. Dak Prescott has been good. Uh, the disappointment, frankly, on his team has been Saquon Barkley, but he's still consistently getting him numbers that are decent. Uh, he's got a decent group. I mean, his third wide receiver hole is kind of a difficult one, but if he gets T. Higgins back, he's got a stud lineup. He doesn't really have any weak spots, uh, and this is really a lineup that he has consciously constructed and looks pretty good.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean,
yeah,
he's definitely not. I mean, like if I had to face him, like if he makes the playoffs and in a vacuum, I wouldn't want to face him because his team could just go off and score 190 points like he did this week.
yeah.
And frankly, I would bet more at this point in time in the season. I'd be more in favor to say that he's going to score in the top six than not.
Yeah, I'm with you, especially this late and this team looking like this. Yeah, you always want to do better. You're near the end of the year, around playoff time, and his team's kind of looking like it's built for that, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean he's with the outside of the T Higgins concussion, which I think he's practicing, he may be fully back. He's got a healthy team, and that's what you want. I mean, you want folks clicking. You want to be your running backs to be part of the ones that they've sort of figured it out. They're the man in their backfield. You want wide receiver pecking orders to be pretty clear. You want your quarterbacks to be in a rhythm, and his guys seem to be in sync. He's got two or three wide receivers he can count on. He's got two or three running backs he can count on. His quarterbacks are okay. I mean, he doesn't, like I said, he doesn't have like any like nuclear option on his team, but he's got a lot of steady guys, and I'll take 11 steady guys over two or three great ones any day.
Yeah.
Because you have to assume that you have to count on more people taking a dump any one week, and instead of just a couple, to get a win or to get luck, and it's hard to outluck somebody with a team like that.
Hmm.
So he's put himself in a position here to really come after you. And on the flip side, Shelby has just been eaten alive with injuries this season, and he's got guys on bye this week. He's got some injured folks still, in his lineup, and it's kind of hard. He's cobbled together what he can here in terms of a team, but boy, yeah,
Oh man.
I bet he wishes he still had James Cook instead of Caleb Williams on his roster.
Caleb Williams, yeah. Instead of which running back you said?
He traded James Cook to
Uh-huh.
Mr. Titties.
Probably when James wasn't doing as well early on in the year, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what a shame. I'm pretty positive since he's traded him, James Cook. Here's his point totals week to week: 48, 20, 9.5, 20, 30, 25. So yeah, he's really been a disappointment.
Yeah. And let's see what Caleb's been doing. He's been okay at times during the year. Yeah. A little average at times. Okay.
Certainly not the numbers he was putting up the first month of the season, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, overall here, let's just sort of set the stage for uh, scenarios for the playoffs. So myself and Boston's team at 14 and a half points, occupying fourth and fifth. We really just need to win 1 point in the standings. So either score in the top six or win our individual matchups, and
Mm-hmm.
we just can't be touched by the guys in seventh and below. It's not mathematically possible. So I mean, in theory, I have the easier road. I get to play the guy who's lost 9 straight times, but he'll probably turn into Nick Saban this week and score 200. And so I can't bank on anything. On paper, Boston has to play, at least this week, the team that's projected to have the most points and titties.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be very interesting because the two of them uh, are really great teams, and I'm on paper, again, just on paper, playing someone who's pretty bad. Uh, there's a chance there that Boston gets beat, and if his team doesn't show up, he could be sitting there at 14.5 points and potentially vulnerable to Frank or Shelby.
Mhm.
Your position is, obviously you're only a half point behind us in sixth at 14 points, but if you pick up at least 1 point and you get to 15, you put a lot of pressure on Frank and Shelby.
Mhm.
Your matchup is really the linchpin because if you come out and take a shit and you just are flat, I mean you you got pretty damn lucky this past week. You put up 100 points, right, and still came out winning
Yeah.
105 to 88.
Yeah.
Um, you put up 105 again, and you might have some problems. But if you get 1 point and you get to 15, that's forcing Frank or Shelby to win top dick. I and looking at the point totals here, you have just a slight advantage over Shelby. I mean, you've only scored 12 more points than him,
Mm.
and Frank has outscored you on the season by about 32 points.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
if if Shelby and or Frank wins top dick and you don't get any points, I- I'm willing to bet right now they're making the playoffs and you're not.
Mhm.
That's the cold hard reality. And if you, like I said, if you pick up the 1 point, then this is all academic. They can't get to 15, and it doesn't just doesn't matter. Um,
Yeah.
so what do you? I mean, what do you think there?
Well, I'll tell you what scares me is I got two guys playing tomorrow night. Well, that really scares me to start off the week like that.
Well, let's break down your matchup. You're playing Shelby, so this is sort of zero sum here. I mean, obviously Shelby can't make it if you beat him. Um,
Like I called him with Rico on a bye, Rico Dowdle. I think that's good for me.
oh, and these are your studs too. Well, the good news is they're playing Dallas, so this should just be a shootout in theory. Your
Hopefully,
guys are
yes.
your guys are playing at home, and this is a game that both teams need to win. And you got Gibbs, who's coming off a disappointing week, and Jamison Williams, who had an amazing week, and he's had a great week 4 out of the last 5 weeks. So, but he's also that type of player that could also yo-yo back and give you a 0, an over, like
Uh-huh.
he did two
Yeah.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not. You got some nerve issues there for sure. But does it looks like you're going to roll with Darren Waller at tight end because you got to replace George Kittle? This is not a
Yeah.
week to not have him.
Yeah, I was glad I saved some of these tight ends because I didn't realize Kittle was going to be out this week. So yeah, I'll start Fanning or Waller. Which one would you probably think? I was thinking Waller though, probably.
Most likely if he's playing. I mean, Fanning, yeah, the only reason he got you 10 points last week is because he scored a touchdown, and
Yeah.
it happened to be the only touchdown that the Browns scored. So
Yeah. Yeah, he was
yeah,
wide open. Yeah.
yeah, you're not gonna. I don't think you want to play with Sanders. That fire.
Yeah.
They're playing Tennessee, who has a pretty good defense. Um, I could easily see this being a 6-3 type of game. You don't want any part of that. Give me the team that has to play the Jets all day long.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Um,
I'm with you on that. Yeah. And I'd
well,
say
I mean, my real question is, I mean, do you have the balls to bench Justin Jefferson? You just have not been able to
it's the
rely on him for the
question.
last month.
Yeah, look, this guy is like probably one of the biggest busts I've had on my team in a while. He's nowhere near like a first or second round wide receiver at all, based on his performance this year.
And it's just not his fault. I mean,
It's not.
he's still one of the best wide receivers in the game. But when you have me or you throwing him the ball, it
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm with you.
so
Yeah, the
that's hard,
McCarthy experiment didn't work.
or at least it hasn't this year. And I mean, even your boy Josh Allen. I mean, when he plays me, he puts up 54. But then in the two preceding games, he can't break 30 combined. He has a pretty juicy matchup at home against Cincinnati. Um, he sort of take his foot off the gas. So you got
Yeah.
some question marks. You also, it looks like you're going to have to start Samaje Perine. Is that true?
No. So look, yeah, no, I need to move this around because this Blake Corum is on the up because Kyron Williams kind of got dinged up during that game last week too. So yeah, I'm gonna start Corum over P Ryan.
It's interesting. I think that's not a bad move. I think I would probably do the same.
Yeah.
Um, and I think there was a report today that they want to keep Williams fresh for the playoffs anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
they're definitely, if they're going to go in with a game plan designed to split the work, and even if you don't get in the end zone, I mean that's what you're praying for with a timeshare backup guy. Maybe he gets a couple of catches in the passing game. Maybe he gets you 50 yards on the ground, something, 7 to 10 points, just to
Mm-hmm.
sort of steady you. Um, but you look across the way there, and I mean Shelby here. I mean, I guess you say he's okay at quarterback, but then Brian Thomas has been an absolute disappointment. I mean, you look at his points. Who would you rather have on your team, Jefferson or Thomas? I'd be marrying Justin Jefferson if I had to stare at Brian Thomas's stat sheet for the year, and that was his keeper. I mean, he sort of based his bench his draft strategy around him.
Mm.
Uh, I mean, this guy had so many good players on his team that they've just been whittled down to nothing. I mean, could you
Yeah.
imagine what he'd look like if Neighbors was still on his team, especially with
Mm.
Jackson Dart potentially throwing in the ball? I mean, he'd have a pretty thriving team. That way, he probably wouldn't have had to trade off James Cook. He'd have a combination of Cook and Bucky Irving, who's now back and healthy, and Rico Dowdle, who's been extremely steady for most of the season. Like he would have a three-headed running back monster there with at least one great option at wide receiver. And now you're stuck with Jalen Waddle. You're just hoping that Tua can throw him a ball. Brian Thomas, who's been nothing. The stack in theory with Trevor Lawrence is good, but it just hasn't worked out. So I would not want to have to go into a game depending on 3 Jacksonville Jaguars to save my season.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And what happened to Bucky Irving? Has he been hurt this year?
He has. He's missed most of the season. He came back finally last week and picked up right where he left off the first month. So when
Yeah.
he's been on the field, he's been amazing. But he had a couple of injuries that have kept him out most of the season. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember I had White last year, and this guy just shared so much time with him last year. Took over the points. Um,
you're a 76% favorite right now. He's got some holes to fill before Sunday. You got a hole to fill. You got some decisions to make before tomorrow night. I imagine you're going to keep both Williams and Gibbs, obviously, in your lineup. I don't really think you really can't. You don't have any other options there. You got to keep them in,
I mean,
especially given the
yeah,
matchup. And just looking up and down your lineup, his green light special. None of your lineup is facing a tough opponent this week. It's just the
uh,
stars look like they're aligned.
and some of my players need it because, like I said, Allen's been a problem last few weeks. I mean, they might have a problem up in Buffalo right now. And like I said, do I have the balls to move Jefferson out on an easy defense this week?
No, you can't. I mean, the week you do is the week he scores 40 points on your
Yeah,
bench.
I'm with you. Yeah.
You're really gonna bench him in favor of Tez Johnson. If you would have threw that name up at me and given me 5 guesses, I wouldn't have been able to tell you which team he was on.
Yeah. God, my team has just been so hit or miss. It's like 100 points or 170. There's not been much in between.
Well, the big elephant in the room is you have been the luckiest team in
Mm-hmm.
the whole league by at least
100 points. I mean, it's quite remarkable. I mean, just take me as a counterpoint. I have been scored on 2,066 points. You're at 1,759.
I didn't realize it was that much. Let me look. Yeah, I've been put up the least of the whole league. I did not even realize this. Yeah,
You
that's
have been scored 300 points less than me. Or that is, I mean, by your scoring, it would take 3 weeks for you to get it. I mean, that's quite remarkable. I mean, and the only person who could even sort of sniff you is Nick Saban. If his historically low output wasn't eye popping enough, he's also been scored on the second least of anyone in the league, and yet he's still 12th in the standings. So
yeah,
sometimes you got to buy your own luck, and sometimes it doesn't matter.
yeah,
I have to applaud you. I mean, sometimes you just have to get lucky. I mean, you
yeah.
can't dictate what the other team that's lining up from you does, and sometimes the stars align all season, and you just got to roll with it.
Yeah, I mean, Gibbs. I mean, I'm look. Here's how my team's been. Like one or two guys will just go off, or maybe even one guy will just go off, and I mean, it'll make the week. You know.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah.
Maybe that's all you need. You're facing an opponent who's reeling. I mean, Shelby has just after the first 3 or 4 weeks, there's just been a lot there. He had a great run last year, and this one is just he's had one win in his last 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough after winning 5 of his first 6.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
it's hard. And I mean, you want to talk about close? I didn't even realize it was this close. Did you see what the final score of him and Saban was in week 13?
Yeah, I mean, it was
He
like a point or so difference. I
less than a
mean,
point. He
yeah.
lost 116.74 to 116.16.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, that is just over half a point. And if he's sitting at 13 points instead of 12 and a half,
Mhm.
you are sweating your balls off this week.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Because then all he has to do is beat your ass and outscore you by like 8 points, and then you're fucked.
You're fucked. Yeah, I mean, I just hope he puts up 116 this week. I'll be good with that, or less.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I think we sort of beat your matchup to death.
Yeah, sorry about that, folks.
No, 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 no. I mean, it's fine. I think it's the most important match of the week,
Yeah,
and
it's juicy.
we've sort of previewed or savored Frank's team. I don't want to go too much more in depth about what he has. He gets to play Saban. Saban won last week, but Saban also only scored 116 points, and he's got potentially just a couple of bright spots on the team. I don't unless Frank just falls apart. I think that's highly unlikely given how many good players he has. You can just stamp him for at least 1 point, and
I-
really you're just praying that he doesn't get 2 or win
yeah,
top dig.
I'm kind of with you. Yeah, and it's not looking good. I'm gonna be very nervous watching this one the whole weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm putting my hopes on Saban starting a guy named Bam Knight.
That's funny. That sounds like a wrestler.
Yeah, some Bam Bam Bigelow out there, isn't it? Yeah.
Um, the other matchup and team I want to highlight is Aunt Gladys. I talked about just sort of the heartbreaking loss to Boston in week 13 that really would have shifted the whole scenario here. He could easily be sitting at 14 and a half points instead of 16 at 12 and a half or to 12 points. I guess he would have been at 14. So he could be tied with you
Yeah.
versus sitting there in 12. So he's in 9th place and he's in a tough place. Like I don't. It, he has to hope that none of the players ahead of him get any points.
Yeah.
That he has to hope that Shelby beats you. Neither of you score in the top 6. Frank only picks up 1 point, doesn't score in the top 6,
Mm-hmm.
and that he wins top dig. He's not going
Yeah.
to beat you in a tiebreaker in a head to head. So his only prayer is to get to 14.5 and hope nobody else crosses that threshold. So
Mhm.
it's pretty slim at this point to see him get in the playoffs, and it would have been so much easier for him. It would have been such a different scenario had he been able to either beat Boston last week or nab a top 6 finish, and he came excruciatingly close. I mean, he was not only did he lose his matchup by I think 6 or 7 points, but he was the 7th highest scoring team on the week, or right there,
Mhm.
or maybe 8th. I think maybe Sally was sort of right there around him and Boston, but there was a 5 or 6 point difference there that perhaps in that Monday night game, if the Giants had been able to do anything competitive against New England, perhaps they would have been able to use Henderson a little bit more, and Gladys would have been able to do a little bit more as a result. But oof, that's rough. I mean he, I mean his QB situation. I mean he's been trying to ride Aaron Rodgers here, and what a great week to put up 2 points, Aaron. I mean, just real stellar stuff there.
Did, did you see him with that hand all bandaged and that nose all bloodied? He looked
Yeah,
like the one of the wet bandits.
he did. I mean, he left in the snow in Buffalo there, with his hairpiece on fire, his, his hand branded with the McAllister logo.
Yeah.
Um, he's another one that's been sort of bit by injury. I mean, Garrett Wilson, IR. He's not going to see him again. Drake London, there's a decent chance he doesn't play this week. And it's just hard when your second highest scoring player on the week, or well, I guess third highest scoring player of the week is Tyler Show.
Mhm. Yeah.
Eh, it's hard, boy. It is hard. Yeah, AJ Brown gets him 35, and his other 2 wide receivers get him 4, and
Yeah.
it's hard to overcome injury, and like Boston said in the chat, he started off with maybe his best player in Amon-Ra St. Brown going down and getting him a goose egg, and his other wide receiver, Zay Flowers, on Friday getting him, or sorry, on Thursday as well, getting him -4 points. He had 2 catches
Right.
for 6 yards and a fumble. So he started out the week in negative territory, and he still pulls out a victory, really only because of the Seattle defense just destroying the Minnesota Vikings. He put up 47. I mean, I mean, the rest of his lineup looks like 1945 Berlin. It's just destroyed. I don't know how he got to 140 points, but he can thank
Yeah.
his lucky stars he had the right defense. Because any
Mm.
other combination of players and he doesn't win this match.
Yeah, luckily the Vikings, like I said, had one of us back there throwing. Apparently,
Yeah,
yeah, and
it's a balanced equation. Every Justin Jefferson, you get a Seattle defense, right?
right, exactly. Well, we're gonna have to move some folks around for Buster if he doesn't do something here.
Oh, we'll just do it now, or yeah, we're not gonna. I mean, he can obviously counteract any moves that we make.
Yeah, we're
I'm not
gonna.
making this easy.
Yeah,
He's got
we'll put Will
Brock Purdy's
Lutz.
on bye. Yeah, he
Yeah,
needs. Oh, does he have 2 kickers? Boy, he's probably the
yeah,
only team that has that. Jaden Daniels, if he's gonna play, potentially we need him in there. We need to put Terry McLaurin in there, who had a very good game. I don't know why the fuck he wasn't on his team. Anyway, yeah, we'll move some of these pieces around to make this competitive because he had a good showing. I mean, he won last week. He beat Sally. He finished in the top 6. If he had made moves like this consistently, he'd probably be a playoff team.
yeah. Nah, it's probably not the best time to be facing a Buster because, like I said, he's got a pulse right now.
You mix some of the stuff around. I mean, he's going to have to pick up some other quarterback because Jaden Daniels plays again. Obviously, that means Mariota's not playing, and he's got to fill the Brock Purdy spot. So we'll do our best, team, league, to try and resolve this situation. I'll keep on the injury report, see if Alvin Kamara, Jesus, I sound like a Russian plant. If Kamara plays this week, we'll throw him in there. We'll just whatever Yahoo would set as the ultimate lineup or the best lineup of projections for him. We'll put it in there to make sure it's a full team and not just Buster. I mean, I'll make sure everybody is lined up to whatever their full potential is. Here,
Yeah.
especially this week that it's so important.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't really know other matchups to look at. I mean, I suppose we should look at Titties and Boston, because this is potentially going to be the best matchup on paper because of the teams that are involved. And boy, Boston's got an uphill climb here, because Titties won last week's top dick. He's obviously quite strong. He's got 3 amazing running backs. He's got one in particular very good wide receiver who's kind of cooled since he got injured, but still reliable and for the most part balanced QB play. I look at his team and I'm like, yeah, somehow he's getting to 200, and it seems a little smoke and mirrors ish. And if that wasn't the case, he wouldn't be making as many roster moves as he has. And he's been able to get Brock Bowers, he's been able to get James Cook, and questionable circumstance. I'm not going to go much more into that. And he obviously lost some pieces to go and acquire and have the construct the team that he has. But I think I'm a little more frightened of the 2 teams ahead of him, frankly, and that might be a finals preview. If we look at Sally and Callie's matchup, they're both missing some pieces this week because of buys, and at least Callie has something to play for here. McCaffrey is on bye. He wins. He gets more points than Titties this week, and he's the number 2 seed, and he gets the bye. I don't think there's really much Sally needs to play for except top dick. You shuffle his lineup in and out, but this might be the finals preview, because these 2 teams. I mean, Sally's been on top, and Kylie has put up most most points, I believe, all year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
These are the ones I've been more worried about, frankly. But obviously, all 3 are just in an echelon that's above everyone else.
Yeah.
At
Sure.
the moment. So those are some decent matchups, and I don't know. Do you have any? I mean, there's not much more to talk about. I just want to say as commentary that I think it's really cool that half the league still is in a position where they don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. Like usually when we come down to the last week, it's like, oh, there might be a guy in 5th who just needs to make it to start the race, and then he's in the playoffs, and then it's like, who's going to get in 6th place? And sometimes there's drama, sometimes there's not. But the fact that 4th place right now potentially could see himself being exited is pretty cool. And I don't know if we've seen that over the last 5 or 6 years that we've had this system. So a lot of drama here, and I hope that we're not disappointed on Sunday.
Yeah, bring your popcorn. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't ever remember it being this close between this many teams. That's it's wild, really. But I like it.
Well, what do you think? What's your takeaway here? Do you have any bold predictions? Do you want to go out on a limb and say what you think is going to happen? Who the final 3 teams to make the playoffs are?
God, let's. I may sneak in just because maybe I get a win this week. If I do make it in, I'm going to be an exit early if I do make it in anyway. But Frank will get a point. I don't know if he's going to get 2 this week. Hard to say. It definitely pencil him for 1, like you said, though, I think earlier. God, Boston. He'll probably get 1 just for being the top 6, but maybe not beating Tony, maybe. Yeah, I could see that.
You wanna hear something crazy?
Yeah, what are you thinking though? What do you got?
I think it'd be tough for me to not make the playoffs. I mean that would a lot of shit would have to go sideways.
Hey, yeah, I'm with
Frank
you.
Frank
Yeah.
would Frank would have to win top dick, or I'd have to get no points, and then he somehow overcomes the point differential that I have over him. It's knocked me out. You would have to pass me. Boston obviously get a point, would have to pass me. It's possible. I don't think that's likely. You pick up a point, you get to 15. It would make Frank have to win top dick.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That could obviously happen.
Yeah.
I think what may be, if it's a different lineup besides my team, your team, and Boston making the playoffs, I think scenario 1 we just covered, Frank winning top tick and perhaps topping you.
Yeah.
But I think what could be even more, maybe as likely potentially, or even maybe more likely, if Frank is somehow able to sneak in here, it may be that Boston gets the brakes beat off of him by titties, doesn't score
Yeah.
in the top 6, and Frank gets 2 points because he already has a tiebreaker advantage over Boston.
So actually, maybe Boston
So
getting left out. It could be a
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
hell, I mean, the Lord giveth and He taketh away. He was down there in 7th last week. He
Yeah.
kind of got lucky this week, and there's a very strong chance that Amon-Ra St. Brown does not play because of his ankle injury, and even if he does, is he going to be effective? You take him away from that lineup, and he's got. You talked about the Kyron Williams injury. I mean, shit, they may rest him. I mean, they don't need him to beat Arizona probably. Woody Marks, his other running back, is banged up.
Yeah.
Kyle Monungai on his bench, running back, banged up. Justin Herbert just had surgery on
I can't believe
his
that.
hand.
Yeah.
Like there's talk that there's packages that he may not even play in the red zone. Like what the fuck? He's got Tyrod Taylor in his lineup right now. Like there's so much happening. Um, if Frank gets 2 points, you get a point, I get a point. We're sort of at 15 and beyond. Boston doesn't get anything. Frank gets 2. They could both be at 14.5, and Frank wins a tiebreaker. That might be the more likely scenario. And I'm not advocating for one position or another. I think it would be fucking fantastic to see Boston potentially clearly losing to titties, but sort of hanging on to that top 6 point. Maybe Frank is sort of right there. He needs to win his matchup. Looks like he's going to win it, and it comes down to who's going to score more points, Frank or Boston. That would be kind of a dream scenario in terms of drama for the league. And look, he's got some of his big breadwinners are going to have to go on Monday and play. I mean, Herbert is playing Monday night, and
I mean, he
he'll
has
have
to
to
make it. I mean, he's got to make a decision tomorrow night about Amon-Ra. I mean, he's already got a tough decision early here, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean, because on paper, Dallas, I mean, the same decision, the no-brainer you have. I mean, Dallas is the worst secondary in the league, and they get shit on. Their defense is terrible. So
yeah,
you would start him if he's healthy. He just got like a grade 2 ankle sprain, something.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna be limited. He just played a week ago.
Yeah.
But he can't keep him off. He can't keep him off the field.
Oh, you think if he's suiting up, he's gonna have to start him, right? Yeah.
He has to. I mean, it's the same thing with Justin Jefferson. You just can't bench him in a game where you need him. And then his other, the one wide receiver he's been able to count on the last 3 weeks, McMillan, is on bye. I mean, these week 14 buys are just just fucking stupid. I mean, obviously the NFL doesn't give a shit about Yahoo's fantasy scoring and our our season, but um, this is just brutal. I mean, you got some really good teams that are on bye, or at least players on team, really good players that are on
Yeah.
teams that have bye this week. It's unfortunate, and oof. Just look. I mean, just look at the challenges he's facing. Then you look at Frank. Frank's just licking his chops. He doesn't have anybody on bye that he has to, of significance, and he's probably going to be able to get T. Higgins back for the showdown in Buffalo.
Yeah.
So he's rolling in there with a good lineup, good deep lineup. Perhaps he has the best kicker for fantasy in the league. I mean, fucking hung 20 points on me last week. Uh, he's sort of got those intangibles. His defense is playing at home against New Orleans. I mean, that's amazing. He's at a good spot, I'd say.
Hmm. Yeah.
I if you put a gun to my head right now and said, "Do you think Frank is going to score in the top 6 this week?" I would say yes.
Uh, yeah, especially in comparison to Butts. I mean, yeah, you're talking about a healthy team versus like a half snake bit team, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, and then you start looking at the other teams in the league, and it's like, well, who are the ones that you could just who's who that you can pencil in for finishing top 6? I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, anybody at any time can go off, but you have to imagine the ones that you would just be chalk on that question is Sally, Callie, Titties. That's 3 of them. Who else? Frank would be in there.
Yeah.
4. I mean, then you sort of got a race for maybe 6 teams to fill the other 2 spots. So
Hmm.
this is going to be quite interesting, and I maybe we're just fanning the flames of drama here to stir up some ratings for the 4 people that are going to listen to this. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a wild one, and I don't know if I have an ultimate prediction, but it I could see a scenario in which it's status quo. Those 3 teams make it, but I could easily see a scenario where the one of the 3 of us is disappointed.
Hmm.
I don't really see a scenario in which 2 of us that are currently in a playoff seat get dropped. I don't. I just
Hmm.
don't. uh, That'd be very unlikely, but it's possible.
Oh man, what if it comes down like a few points on something this weekend, and then they're gonna be great? Yeah.
Well, I mean, it usually always does. Game of inches.
Speaking of a game of inches, boy, how about that kick the other night? Wasn't that great?
Boy, yeah, that's going to define someone's week 14 for sure. Planting that wedge in the ground, baby.
He said the bottom was moving a little bit, right?
Something was moving. It sure as hell wasn't that ball.
When you hear an injury like turf toe, that's the type of injury you think of, right? Like someone doing something like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll leave it at that. No, I completely agree with you. That was a bizarre one, and for
Yeah.
all the yeah, I'll leave it at that. That was one of the wildest things I've ever seen on a football field. I mean, it's up there with the butt fumble.
I mean, it's like you would rather just shank the thing than like have no shot at kicking it at all, right? I mean, that was, and
Well,
apparently it
yeah,
went
I
down
mean,
as a sack, by the way.
what's funny? I mean, never made contact with the ball. So how can it be a missed field goal? It's just like it'd be just like that they ran a fake and they didn't
Yeah.
convert.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think in NFL terms what it's like other comparables. I mean, it would be like a punter catching a clean snap and then just whiffing the ball. Like his
Yeah.
leg just goes up in the air and he doesn't make contact. I,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't think of something else that'd be more embarrassing. Yep,
Yeah.
one of us is going to be cooed. We're going to get cooed out of here. Uh, we just got to find out who it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this will be a very fun one this week. This will be good to watch. Yeah.
Yep. Get your popcorn ready, folks.
Yeah.
Especially for those that have already made a locked up playoff spot. I mean, I guess really it's really only Sally that has nothing to play for here and is already locked in. Everyone else needs to pick up some kind of amount of points to they got something to play for. So it's exciting. And as always, I appreciate as commissioner, and I'm sure you feel the same way, Mr. Assistant Commish. We appreciate everyone's participation, making this league as fun as it is, and I can't wait to see what happens here in the last week of the regular season. So, you got any final remarks?
Yeah, just good luck to everyone. Yeah, it's been a good year though, and we'll finish on the high note. Yeah.
Sounds good. So, for the Assistant Commish, this is Mr. Castor Troy signing off for the Remix Rewind Week 13, and one more week in the regular season. We hope you enjoy the ride.
Hope you enjoyed the ride. Get your ass to box. Get your ass to box. Get your ass to box.